Okay, hello everybody. My name is Egor. I'm from Postgres Professional, Moscow. My colleague Pavel Luzanov and I are working on educational programs. For example, we work with authors that write books on PostgreSQL. We already published 2 books. One book is written by Evgeny Morgunov. It's a primer on SQL language. And another one is Basics of Database Technologies by Professor Boris Novikov from St. Petersburg. Unfortunately, these books are in Russian only, but if you can read Russian, you can download it from our site and read. And also we write this booklet, this blue book. It's a bit outdated. It's about Postgres 10, and current release is Postgres 11, but nevertheless, I hope you can find something useful in this book. And we develop training courses. We have a series of courses for DBAs. First of all, it's a 3-day DBA 1 course, it's basic course, and then more focused courses on monitoring and tuning, on backups and replication, and on query optimization. And we believe that together these courses give coverage necessary for DBA to understand how PostgreSQL works, what's going on inside, how to use Postgres efficiently, and to make right decisions without reading cookbooks, Stack Overflow, and so on. What we will learn here today and tomorrow is a course which I named Introduction, 2-day Introduction. Basically it's the same as DBA 1 course, but we have only 2 days and DBA 1 is 3 days, so I have to shorten it a bit. And some in-depth topics were replaced by overviews, but essentially it's the same course. So let's move on. What I expect from you as students, I expect that you have some basic understanding of what databases are, relational databases, because I won't speak about tables, rows, columns, and so on. Is here anyone who doesn't work with databases? No? Good. Okay. And you have, you must have some basic acquaintance with Unix operating system. Is here someone who don't use Unix? Okay. Windows, yes? All right. We will not use sophisticated commands and so on, but we will use command line interface. So if you can run cmd exe and type cd, dir, and so on, it's okay. What we will learn from this course? I hope that you will have some general idea of PostgreSQL architecture, how it is composed, constructed. You will learn how to install PostgreSQL and manage it, start server, stop server, so on. Basic configurations, changing configuration parameters, We will see how data is organized on low level and on high level. Then you will understand how access control is organized in Postgres, how to set up all you need to connect to Postgres and to use it. And in the end of this course, we will say a little about backups and replication. We will use the virtual machine. I hope that everyone downloaded it and installed it. Is here anyone who don't have this virtual machine?
It doesn't work.
Yeah, you wrote me email, yes? No?
I wrote it.
Okay, we can deal with it in the break. Okay. This virtual machine contains two PostgreSQL servers. They named Alpha and Beta. Mostly we will use one server, but the second one we will need to set up backups and replication. Okay, and inside the virtual machine you will have documentation on PostgreSQL. Just open Firefox and it will open page with starting page with documentation. Also, you should have handouts which contains all these presentations and not only slides which you can see on the screen, but also some notes below them with some text which I should speak, so you can read it also. And after this course you can watch these materials just to remind yourself about what you learned. Then I will give some demonstrations, not only slides, but live demonstrations. I will use a script which will run commands and show its output on the screen. And output of this script is included in the handouts, so you can watch it too. You can copy-paste commands and try to do the same. Change something and look what you will get. It's HTML files. And in the end of most topics, lessons, we will have some practice. And in handouts, you can find solutions to this practice. It's files with _ lab suffix. Best of all, you should try to do the practice by yourself and then look into the solution and compare your solution with solution which we provide. Okay. In these files, in demonstration scripts and in solutions, you will find some comments, some comments and comments. Comment starts with prompt, and prompts are of two types. First prompts, which ends with $, means that you should type this comment in operating system shell in bash. If you see student $prompt, you just type this comment because you log in to the virtual machine as student user. If you see Postgres $prompt, so you first should change to Postgres user and then type this command. You can do this by the following command: sudo su Postgres, and then just type the command. It's convenient to start two terminals, one for student user and another for Postgres. But mainly we will use student. If you see prompts like this, alpha or beta, this is commands for Postgres. You should start psql. It's a terminal client for Postgres. We'll speak about it later. For alpha, you can just run psql without parameters, and for beta, you must specify port number 5433. And in psql, you type these commands. Okay. Some organizational matters. We will start at 10 o'clock and we will end our classes about 15. No. 70. So we'll have 6 hours of classes and 1 hour a break for lunch. Each lesson will take from 20 to 60 minutes, plus or minus, and then we'll have practice, about 20 minutes in general, and we will not make special breaks for rest. You can just try to do the practice, and you can walk, rest, and so on. Okay. What we will learn today? Today we will have 6 lessons. First is an overview of PSQL and server management. Then we'll have 3 lessons about Postgres architecture. General overview about multi-version concurrency control and about logging. And last 2 lessons is about data organization. We'll see how it is organized on physical, low level, and on logical, high level. And tomorrow we'll have 2 topics about administration tasks, an overview of access control, and 2 topics about backups and replication. Any questions so far? Good. So let's begin. Let's begin our first lesson. I will talk about server installation, about management, and about PSQL utility. Okay. Installation. To install Postgres, you basically have 2 options. You can use a pre-built package from repository. Most operating systems, like Unix, have its own repositories, and also you can use a repository from Postgres Global Development Group, which contains most recent version of Postgres. It is preferred method. It is simple. You can upgrade Postgres quite simply, and you get clean, supportable installation. Another option is to build Postgres from sources. It is an open source database, so you can download sources and compile it yourself. Why you may need this? For several reasons. First of all, you can build most recent version, not stable. For example, in the end of the March, a feature freeze will be announced. So upcoming version of Postgres, Postgres 12, will not contain any more features. So in the end of March, you can download sources, compile them, and you can look how Postgres will look when it will be released. Also, you can build Postgres from sources to make some non-standard non-standard parameters. For example, you can enable debug information and so on. You can build Postgres for some non-supported by community architecture. For example, you can build Postgres for your cell phone or something else. Also, you can use multiple extensions for Postgres. In contrib catalog directory inside sources, you can find about 50 extensions which comes with Postgres, and you can find many extensions on the internet. You can install it and use. If you build from sources, you must build them separately. About management. Vanilla Postgres built from sources uses a special utility which is named pgCTL, pgcontrol utility. But if you use prepackaged distributions, they usually use some wrapper scripts above this utility. For example, in Ubuntu, which is installed in the virtual machine, you should use pgCTL cluster utility, which essentially calls pgCTL, but it is method that is supposed to use. And in demonstration, we will see how you can start, stop server, and reload configuration parameters with this utility. We can set up message log. In the message log, you can see error messages from your server, some information about its startup, shutdown, and about some activities which is going on inside Postgres. And you can set up log to see, for example, executing queries, execution time, and so on. So message log is a very important tool, and you need to know where to find it and how to look into it. Configuration. Postgres have a lot of configuration parameters, several hundreds, I think, of parameters. They are contained in the configuration file, which is named PostgreSQL.conf. You can edit this file with any text editor, and then you must signal the server to reload this file for your changes to take effect. Another option is to use AutoSystem command, which essentially edits a file for you. But this file is named PostgreSQL auto.conf. So if you run AutoSystem command, file PostgreSQL auto.conf is changed, and then also you reload changes for them to take effect. In the demonstration, we will see how to use this command. If you change parameters in PostgreSQL conf, these parameters are global for all your installation. And you can change some parameters just for your connection, for your session. You can do it with set command or reset to return factory defaults. Also, you can use function which is named setConfig. It's essentially the same. To look to the value of parameter, you use show command or current setting function. Okay. Now about PSQL. What is PSQL? It's a command line client for Postgres. This is the only tool for working with Postgres, which is included in PostgreSQL distribution. I think many of you use some graphical tools like pgAdmin or something else. We will not use them, we will use PSQL because it's a standard tool. You can find it everywhere. And I think it is important to have some acquaintance with this tool because you can work with any Postgres installation, and in fact it is a very convenient tool if you take some time to be acquainted with it. It is very convenient for running scripts and also for interactive work. To run PSQL, you just type PSQL, but also you can specify some parameters. Main parameters which defines your connection is -d database. You can specify database, you can specify role, host to connect to, and port. There are some defaults. If you don't specify these parameters, then database is chosen from the name of your operating system user. Also, role is chosen from database operating system user. Host is defaulted to localhost, and port is defaulted to 5432, standard port for PostgreSQL. So you can simply type PSQL and you will connect to your local Postgres as a student user. Postgres in our virtual machine is configured so that you can just type psql. You can change connection inside psql. It's a /c command. Postgres PSQL has its own commands. All of them start with \. So you can type SQL commands like select or create table or something, or you can type PSQL commands starting them with \. So /c establishes new connection, and you can watch information about your current connection by /cominfo command. It is important information how to get help in PSQL. You can run PSQL --help. It will show you some help information. You can use manual, Unix manual, and inside PSQL you can see what commands it supports, \. You can see variables which is defined in PSQL. You can get help on SQL commands, \h, and you can write commands. For example, \h select will show you help screen on select syntax, and \q to exit from PSQL. Okay, now let's see it in practice. This script will execute commands. It is real execution, so I have Postgres installed and this utility running this commands in real time. So you can find some differences between what you will see here and what you will get in your handouts. For example, if I run select now, I will get current time, and you will get time when the script was run when I created handouts. Okay. In the virtual machine, Postgres was installed from a repository. It is installed in this directory, usr lib PostgreSQL 11. Here you can see bin and lib subdirectories, which is owned by the root user. This is binaries. To manage server, you can use the following commands. It's a mistake here. To run server, you type pgCTL cluster, then number of release 11, then name of the server alpha, and then command. For example, start. We'll start the server, and stop will shut down the server. Also, you can use restart command, which is basically just stop and then start. And reload command rereads configuration files. Data of your database are contained in another directory, namely var lib PostgreSQL 11 alpha. Alpha is name of the server. Sometimes I will refer to this directory as pgData because Postgres understands this environment variable pgData, and it shows Postgres where to find directory with cluster data. Okay, let's look into this directory. You can see a lot of other subdirectories here, some files. For example, you can see PostgreSQL autoconf file, configuration file. It is here. A lot of directories. We will look into some of them later on.
Where is the PostgreSQL.conf itself?
PostgreSQL conf is in another directory. We'll see it. In Postgre is in postmaster.pid you can find process ID, Unix process ID of your Postgres server. When server is shut down, this file is absent. PostgreSQL conf is in etc PostgreSQL 11 alpha directory. And also in this directory you can find other configuration files. Main of them is pgDay. It's for access control. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So Postgres allows to spread files in different directories. When you build it from source, if you don't specify any parameters, all your installation will be inside one directory. But package distributions like to spread files to different locations. How it is organized in the operating system. And this is server message file, log file. It is in var log PostgreSQL, and well, this is the name of this file. If something went wrong, first of all you should look into this file, and most of the time you will find there some information about what happened. Let's look into this file. Tail command prints tail of the file. Last 10 lines of this file. You can see some information. It's not important what exactly we can see here, but how it looks. You can find timestamp, number of ID of your process, and some text information about what happened. Okay, about configuration parameters. We will not talk about what parameters you should change. We just look on general mechanism of changing these parameters. Just for example, let's look at work mem parameter. In fact, it's very important parameter because it is amount of operating memory which is allocated for some internal operations, like sorting, hashing, and so on.
It's per session or per certain Postgres?
Parameter is defined for cluster, but each command, when it needs to allocate some memory, allocates work mem bytes. For example, you can your select command may consume some work mem chunks for its operation. But in general, when you need, for example, to sort data, for example, you write select something or the by, it will allocate work mem bytes and will use it for sorting. Default value is 4 megabytes. It's very small. And in most cases, you should increase this value to something more adequate. How to change it? Let's do it in PostgreSQL conf file. Here I use set editor, which will delete line starting from work mem, and then I add another line to configuration file. You can do all of this just using your preferred text editor and just change value. But because I use script, I need some editor which I can use inside script, so I use set here. What we essentially do, we just make this line work mem equals to 16 megabytes.
You said you can change it with the alter system. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you need the set to change
Because this is PostgreSQL conf file, so this file I must edit in text editor. Alter system is an alternative method of changing this parameter. And here I show how to change it in PostgreSQL conf file. You can use alter system. It depends on DBA. Some DBAs like to change Postgres conf and store this file under version control, for example. And some DBAs like to type alter system. So it's up to you which method to use. You can use both methods, but common parameters in parameters changed by alter system take precedence on parameters in PostgreSQL conf file.
And they don't update the configuration file?
Hmm?
Alter system, when you alter system,
Yeah.
does it update the conf file?
It updates PostgreSQL autoconf. Autoconf.
When you restart the server, which one is
First server reads PostgreSQL conf, and then PostgreSQL autoconf. Okay, so we have to reload file. I use this command. If you run this command from student, you must run it under sudo. If you run it on behalf of Postgres user, you don't write sudo. So this restarts server, and now show command shows us new setting, 16 megabytes. To change a parameter inside your session, not cluster-wide, but only inside your session, you write set command. Set workmem equals to something else. It takes effect immediately. You don't have to reload anything. But when you close your connection, this change is gone. Okay, about psql. Current connection, you can get information about your current connection by com-info command. Postgres tells us that we connected to this database as student user, and it uses Unix domain socket to connect to your local host. When you execute select command, you get your data in the form of formatted table. This is called aligned format in Postgres. Dashes, vertical lines, and aligned text inside them. Sometimes you need to change the format, and you can do it. You can use \a command, which switch align and unaligned format, and \t commands, which switched showing of header and footer of table. So if we run both commands, the same select command will give us the following. Here we cannot see the header, names of columns. We cannot see number of lines, and fields are unaligned. Why we may need this? For example, to handle this output by some script. It's much simpler to parse this file by script. Very useful format is you can set by \x switch, or just by typing \gx instead of semicolon in the end of the command. This is what is called extended mode. It shows you one row, columns like lines with the values. It is very useful when you want to look to several rows, but each row is very wide and it cannot fit into the screen. So we will use this mode quite often. Okay, PSQL have some possibilities to interact with operating system. You can use \! command to run any Unix command you want. For example, here I run.
How do you cancel \t \? You cancel it. You have to cancel it. go back to the previous.
Just type it again. It's switch. You
Okay.
run backslash t
Okay.
once, yes, and then it returns back. Here we use ls command to output current directory and show first 10 lines of this output. So you can run any shell command not quitting PSQL. Or you can use pvd command, which shows you your current directory. You can execute scripts inside PSQL. Here we will see some technique of creating command by PSQL and then running this command. This select essentially shows you another select command. Which is composed from table name from pgtables table. pgtables contains information about all tables in PostgreSQL. We get 3 rows from this table and output select name of the table and count star from this table. What we will get, you can see here. And this output we redirected into the file by \o command. O stands for output. So when you type \o and name of the file, you will not get information on your screen, but it goes to the file you specify. And then \o returns us back to the screen. So this command constructed another select commands which we can execute. And we can execute them by \i include command. We can run it and we can see name of table and number of lines in this table. What's it for? For example, sometimes you need to make some actions on some objects which you can query. For example, disable all triggers in database. You will have to get a list of triggers and then run alter trigger disable or something like that. And you can use this technique to construct your script and then execute it. And in Postgres 11 you can do it in a more simple way. It has gexec command which you type instead of semicolon, and it immediately executes result of this select. So you don't need to write it into file and then execute this file. You can do it in one command. Sometimes it is very convenient. Okay. Also, you can redirect your file into PSQL to execute commands in it, or you can use my -f argument to specify the file to execute. or you can use psql with -c command to run one command and exit. For example, you can use psql -c select now just to test that your server is up and running. Next, PSQL has its own variables, like shell has its environment variables, so PSQL has its variables too. How to use them? You can use \set command to set value to a variable, for example, like this. And to use this value, you type name of your variable and colon before it. For example, like this. \echo command just output the result on screen. And you have unset command, which unsets the variable. In this case, you will just get what you type. Sometimes it is convenient to remember result of some function and to use it after that. Or you can remember into the PSQL variable some select command, which you often use, and you can use it just by typing column and some and name of variable. For example, like this, we can write some select which will show us 5 biggest tables, for example. And if you use it quite often, you can type \set top 5 and this select, and then you can run it just by typing colon top 5. Yeah.
Can I use this variable to integrate it in SQL phrase? That means I can name
Yes.
Jack
Yeah.
and select all users where name is
Yeah.
like.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Just in the SQL variable to write
Yeah.
column and the variable name?
Yeah. Let's see. PSQL. For example, set. Okay. Yeah. Simple, sometimes very useful. It is even more useful to what is this? Just a moment. Okay. Virtual box shows me this line. Okay. We have PSQL-rc file, .psql-rc, which is located in your home directory. And if you put some PSQL commands in it, PSQL will execute them on startup when you start it. So you can put your command inside this file, and each time you start PSQL, you will have your shortcuts, your variables already set. And we can use PSQL variables to put result of some comments into them. For example, we can select current settings to get current value of workmem parameter, and \g set command put this value into variable which is named same as column you select here current workmem, and then you can use column current workmem to show this value. By the way, you can open on your laptop handouts and look into them, because I don't understand why this line is shown.
Virtual machines.
Hmm?
It's a virtual machine.
Okay, after this demonstration I will try to do something with it. If you type \set, you can get a list of all variables with their values. You can see a lot of predefined variables here and our own variables in the end of this list. There are some interesting variables, for example, prompt, which makes it possible to customize prompt of PSQL and so on. So that's all. What we have learned here. If you don't any other reason, you can just install Postgres by choosing predefined package from repository. For example, in Ubuntu, it's as simple as apt-get install PostgreSQL. When you use such distribution, you should understand how to start server, stop server, reload parameters, how to change configuration files where these files are located, and where is your log file. We talked a little about PSQL tools for querying database and running commands. Any questions? No questions, good. A little practice. It is intended to make yourself familiar with the virtual machine. How to change parameters, how to reload configuration, how to execute commands, and so on. Now it's 11:07. For example, at 11:30 we will continue with the next topic.